banded row. What we are doing here is using a row while we are in a side plank. One thing that you do want to realize about this is that the row on this should not feel awfully hard. In fact, we don't want to use a resistance that is such that we're really having to compensate the form of our side plank to be able to pull the resistance. So this is not going to be like pulling a max resistance on a loaded row. I am doing this with an elastic band. You can also do this with a cable machine. Okay, so if you are doing this on your knees, what we want to think about here is you are going to have your supporting elbow down, and then I like to put my palm down on the ground. You have a couple of different options. You can either put your knees in front of you in this 90-90 position here if you know you have a lot of trouble with keeping the rib cage and the pelvis stacked. If you feel pretty confident about that, you can put your knees in a little bit more of an open angle here. So whichever works best for you is fine. And then we want to make sure that our shoulders and hips are in one line. You're going to press down through your palm, your elbow, and your knees, and then lift up. You want to think about a rainbow underneath the side of your body that is lifting up. Now, if you are doing this on your feet, all the same things, except we are not going to have the knees down on the ground. You're going to have the elbow down on the ground, palm down, legs straight out. Then I like to keep my knees bent just slightly because it helps me get a little more deep core and really stay in that nice stacked position. And I'm going to push up from there, thinking about making a rainbow on this underside of my body. Now from here, I'm going to row. What you want to think about is let your shoulder come around your rib cage so that scap glides in front without the shoulder moving up, okay? Scap glides in front, and then you're gonna row back and think about letting that scap come back and the chest open up without flaring the rib. So we should be able to make that rowing motion happen without compromising any of the movement in our rib cage. So scap glides around, and then you're gonna row back, thinking about elbow to waist, wrist to waist as you're coming back. And you're gonna do that same thing whether you're on your knees or you're in the full plank position. A couple of mistakes that I see here are people really letting their chest drop down as they're rowing, and they're doing this number right here and the shoulder dropping forward. Other mistake that I see is that when people go to row back, that they'll kind of flare right here like this. And the other one that I see is people really just using too much resistance here. If you always want to have that tension on the resistance, so we should never have any slack here. But if you are really like struggling and you're crunching down and you're trying really hard to pull this, it's too much. Again, this should feel like the resistance is an RP of 4 to 5, something like that. We're just adding a bit of challenge, again, not maximum load for the resistance. And that's how you do it.